This is Aromie here. Welcome back to our life, Baxter DLC. We're here on the phone with Xavier. I do not understand what's going on with you two. Neither you nor Baxter knew what to say. Xavier's plain words hung there in the air until they let you both off the hook.
So?
We should get together before Michiko leaves. You did mention that before. I know. I meant it then. I mean it now. Baxter sighed quietly and brushed his hand through his hair. Things never really went his way, interpersonal relationship-wise. Does tomorrow work? We can grab some coffee. Baxter hesitated and checked her face for an answer. He moved to speak, but he remembered he was supposed to be good at managing people. Please hold. He automatically used his customer service voice and clicked the screen, putting the call on mute. Baxter carefully rested the phone face down. He breathed in deep and then slowly exhaled. Baxter wore a tired smile. I apologize. I should have anticipated that Xavier would follow through on that threat or request. The truth is I do have something I need to do tomorrow. I gotta see my moms.
I understand.
Of course, you've been busy with the wedding preparation. Tomorrow was finally a free day. Right, I haven't seen my mom since I got here. They've been waiting for me to come home and visit. It's a wonderful plan. I can drive you to Sunset Bird in the morning and you can spend some quality time with your parents. They must be eager to see you. Nodding your curious about how your day was shaping up for tomorrow. Baxter's return to the neighborhood would be a massive surprise. Don't worry, I'll stay out of your way once you're there. Perhaps I'll accept that coffee with Xavier. What? I want you to come. You do? Yes, Baxter. I thought we were going to spend more time together. Baxter grew flustered in front of your growing frown. He ruffled his hair and caused several pieces to stick out oddly in his frustration, his mouth pressed into a fine line.
I swear.
Doing it again. I'm doing it again. It's always my first response. He straightened himself out properly before speaking to you again. In the spirit of being truthful about my feelings, even when they're not ideal, I'll admit it. I'm nervous to meet your mothers again. I'm not exactly thrilled to see what would happen if I appeared in front of them. I doubt they'd forgotten anything. I made a terrible impression on them, didn't I? He did make a fair point. If you were standing in his shoes, you'd be scared of facing your moms too. He rubbed the back of his neck and shrugged. Baxter seemed to be relieved you were at least able to understand one another. Old habits die hard. Still, you should come with me. They'll forgive you. So they do dislike me. Nothing is as bad as it feels in your thoughts. My parents are sweet. They're going to hear about the wedding anyway. You were an important part in that story. Unfortunately, those words did little persuade Baxter. He continued to drag his feet over this predicament. He wasn't willing to accept the invitation, but he also wasn't willing to outright reject you either. How about we visit with everyone tomorrow? Together.
Oh?
A compromise, Xavier wanted to meet in the morning. Did you want to visit your mom's first thing? There's time for both. Yes, I suppose there is. He placed a finger on his chin. Baxter carefully considered the possible options, as usual. If it's alright with you, I would prefer not to keep you from visiting your family. That's fine. I don't think a few hours is much of a delay, but we can plan to see them first. We could ask Xavier if we can hang out later on. Yes, that'll work quite nicely. I believe Xavier should accommodate that request easily. But where will we go for drinks? I wonder if that interactive play bar place can be visited as just a bar. It'd be nice to check it out after. I can't fucking read anymore. Check it out after so long. Yes, you can send for the drinks and atmosphere without catching a show. Great, that's what we should do, or could do. Then one final detail. Would you be fine seeing your mothers not too early in the morning? You knew Baxter would agree to whatever he decided, but his brown eyes begged for mercy. Chuckling, he gave him the okay. He's so cute. Baxter pressed a dramatic hand over his heart. He expressed a genuine sigh of relief.
Good.
Seems we have a plan. Now we need to run it over by Xavier and their current schedule. He tapped the screen and turned the mute setting off. Xavier, are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
I am. Excellent. Thank you very much for waiting. It is fine. I imagine Michiko wouldn't let you hang up on me, even if you wanted to. Very funny. We just needed a moment to sort out a few pertinent details, and you're in luck. Michiko does have time to see you tomorrow. However, rather than in the morning, we're thinking of meeting in the evening for drinks. There's a particular bar that we enjoyed in the past, and I think it would make a fun fit. Would that work for you? That sounds perfect.
It's settled.
We'll do it. I'll text you the address and a specific meet time after the call. You're proud of him. Baxter had well and truly changed. Okay, Michiko is lucky to have such a well-mannered personal assistant. Baxter caught your eye for a split second. You swore there was a mischievous glint. He moved closer to the phone and smirked. I'm not her assistant. I'm Michiko's boyfriend. Xavier didn't say anything. The line fell completely silent until you heard a long, deep breath.
I cannot have heard that right.
No.
I think you did. Gasping, you slapped a hand across your mouth. Baxter's bluntness sent you into shock. He'd casually dropped that incredible fact. You could hardly believe it. It hadn't fully sunken in for you yet, but still, deep down, a seed of excitement was sprouting roots. Baxter delighted in the amazement his words brought you. The softness in his expression only made your heart pump faster. Well, then I'll need you to explain that later. Of course.
Goodbye for today.
Ichigo and I will see you tomorrow, Xavier. Goodbye. Can't wait to see you. Ditto. Oh my god, I haven't heard that word forever. We'll have a drink in honor of our new friendship. I'm honestly not sure how I feel about you two spending more time together. You're thrilled, I'm certain. Bye. And so Baxter tapped the screen to end the call. He left the phone on his counter. Just like that, the two of you had a full day of plans set. Dude. I guess bedtime. I would love to sleep together, sleep over, but I'm sure we can sleep separately. You know, don't want to rush it too much. His full force smile dimmed. For a little while, you both managed to be casual, as if everything was normal and nothing had ever happened, like you'd never been apart. But in the late hour, well, when there was nothing left of casual life distractions, the lingering unease revealed itself. I apologize for keeping you up. I don't mind. Then, would you want to talk for a little longer? As sorry as I am, I don't think I've been as open as I could have been. You accepted how I was, still am in some regards, but can't fully understand it. Am I right? Yeah. I want to know more of, like, what was he thinking during those 5 years, you know? He was. There's no denying it. You never grasped the reason for the way he acted. Slowly you nodded. Then Baxter's attention wandered about his apartment. He slipped a hand into his pocket. Could we move this downstairs? The lobby of my building has an amenity I'm rather fond of. Interesting. This had already taken a turn for the unexpected, but if whatever it was made him feel better, you could go with it. Sure. Thank you. It's just like the past. He led you out of the apartment and down the elevator to the ground floor lobby. From there, you went to one corner where a seating area surrounded a chic modern fireplace. It was alright. That was what he was drawn to. You knew it without being told. Here we are. After sweeping his hand out over the space, Baxter settled into a chair by the fire. You took a spot near him. The fire popped and crackled. He watched flames, hypnotized by the way they danced. This is a humbler setting than the last fireside talk we had, isn't it? After such a long walk down memory lane, it would have been lovely to return to that mountain lodge together. Miranda and Terry will be taking a grand trip on my suggestion, might I add. It only seems fair we should as well. Throwing up his hands in mock defeat, Baxter could only laugh at himself. Of course, when have I ever taken my own damn advice?
Never.
Don't answer. I know it's never. Or perhaps never will. Never until only today. You weren't actually going to say something, but that was alright. At least in this case, it's not for lack of trying or a stubborn impulse to do the opposite of what would improve my life. It's that matter I warned you about, the charming reality of limited expendable income. I can't afford to flitter off on vacations whenever the mood strikes the way my parents can, but I have a very comfortable existence. Oh. Is this your own empire that you built yourself? Like his own life from the ground up? He decided to cut mommy and daddy off or something? He shrugged his shoulders, sinking deeper into his seat.
It's
nice, if lonely. Of course, let's not pretend I have let anyone to blame for that other than myself. I ended every relationship I had with my own actions. It's a story of my life. I wanted to be liked, but I don't want to be important. A suitor for a season. The planner at a wedding. It's that kind of role I'm comfortable in. Perhaps that's why I'm drawn to people who are wanted by everyone else. They don't need me. I can be someone. I can't be the one. Why? The word came out instinctively, before you could stop yourself. There was no reason for him to believe that about himself. You couldn't accept it. Baxter's arms and legs crossed as he closed his eyes in contemplation.
To be honest,
I'm not sure I would have been able to answer before, even if I wanted to, which I didn't until very recently as you saw firsthand. I understood where my limits were and generally left it at that. But where did those lines come from? I've begun to reflect on it since I met you again. Seeing you made me doubt my own motivations. And I came to a conclusion somewhere along the way. I did know. I knew it all along and simply chose not to think about it for a long time. Finally, he looked at you again. His eyes were a dark pool, crystal clear but bottomless. I don't deserve to have the kind of relationship with another person. That's why. The same question came to the tip of your tongue. Why? You felt as if you were asking that with him, but this time you didn't have to. Baxter answered the unspoken plea on his voice.
You need to understand.
I don't contribute anything. Maybe I can impress others for a time, but how do you go beyond that? I can't say what it means to be significant as a person, to be irreplaceable. And since I don't have the answer, I certainly wasn't going to assume I'd do it by accident. The more Baxter voiced these long-hidden feelings, the quieter he spoke. Baxter whispered to the fire as if he was all alone. What does it take to add value to someone simply just by being there? I tried, but I never knew. In my eyes, there's a world of humans living freely among one another, while every connection I create is so fragile. If I make the wrong step, I might hurt them, or be hurt myself, and if it's strained at all, it will break entirely. Of course, I could be entirely off the mark, and everyone else might have the same struggles. What would I know, right? Baxter smirked self-derisively, recalling he had an audience.
But
Still, it was frightening to want a deeper connection, because I couldn't do it. So I lived on, accepting what seemed to be my reality. It was painful listening to his innermost fears and insecurities, but Baxter wasn't done reflecting. You gritted your teeth and stayed quiet. I'm old enough to have forgotten my earliest years. Everything before about 6, maybe 7, is nothing but a vague blur. What I do distinctly recall is that as a child, I unequivocally thought I was better than the other people. That those who met me were lucky, and I could pick anyone I wanted as company. That onus was on everyone else to impress. If someone was boring, or maybe I just didn't like the colors they were wearing that day, I could find a new playmate easily. After all, I had the most to offer. Naturally, what I was offering was what my parents had. A big, cool house, exciting outings, the best toys. It wasn't until I was 11 or so when I developed my first stable friends. They might not have been rich like me, but they had their own charms. Those ties couldn't be replaced. Becoming attached to other people, especially those people, made me realize that what I believed wasn't true. He straightened out his back and came up to the edge of the chair. And it was so obvious. They were wonderful. I felt things I never had before. All it took was being who they were. It didn't matter what their parents did. No fancy venue could top genuine camaraderie with their company.
Truthfully.
And for whatever reason, I was in the club, and I was happy. The person who was lucky to be there was me. A beautiful sparkle of sentimentality brightened his features even more than the glow of the fireplace. I had one of my friends to feel the same way towards me, to have that kind of incredible effect on another person for no reason other than that I was Baxter. Then the light went out, but I was older than all of them. As sheltered as I was, I got along better with kids not quite my own age, and mature as always. Life changed fast then, and the years between us became more noticeable within every day. I never reached a point where I felt like I knew what I was doing before suddenly it was as if I didn't belong with them anymore. That they didn't have time to keep me around with the differences in our schedules and priorities, and I accepted that, so the friendships ended. We stopped talking as young teens, and I haven't even seen them since I left for college in 2015. I thought they mattered to me, but when have I done anything for them? Why did I deserve to be liked and included when all I did was want that to happen and abandon them when it didn't? I don't know. None of the emotion, life was left in Baxter's retelling. He continued hollowly. I miss what it was like having real friends. I miss those friends I used to have. Sometimes I wonder if they remember me. I wonder what they think of, if they do remember me. I wonder what they think of me now. But with a flick of his wrist, he wryly brushed off the admission. We're both aware it's only as a full-grown man I learned that lesson. I've made many more mistakes than that. He hadn't given up the concept of vulnerability entirely, however. Baxter softened once more for a different confession. I've also missed you over those 5 years. And Terry, Miranda, and Cove, and that summer in Sunset Bird, but mostly it was you who I thought of. During that trip, I did feel wanted.
You made me feel wanted and important.
Good. It was exciting and amazing, and felt impossible it could last. That the shine would wear off eventually, as always. I didn't want to see it happen. What if I seemed pathetic for being attached to people I met on a short vacation? You had your real group of friends who live with you there already. Or what if you stopped responding to me after realizing I wasn't that interesting? Or why would I have even assumed there'd be a reason to talk to me at all once it was no longer convenient? I'm aware that's not a kind way to view you, but it wasn't that you'd done something to make me believe it would happen. It's my viewpoint for every situation. But listen, bitch, I texted you still. I still reached out. So, like, I think he was just unsure how to respond back, to be honest. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. I am glad Baxter is opening up. He's genuinely opening up even more. And, you know, answering all the questions that we had mentally. But thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful. And I'll see you guys in the next one.